Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Wednesday, May 26th, around 10 p.m. Mountain Time, 2021. The models are in. Heavy snow for North and South Dakota. We got snow from Wisconsin, as well as Washington State. But the big story, the aurora and the CMEs that are now hitting Earth and creating that spectacular display. Keep calm. It's aurora time. We'll get to that later in the podcast. But first, we start with the Graveyard Doesn't Lie, which is quite odd. What does that mean? Well, the catastrophic events of Texas power grid failure in February killed hundreds more people than the state has acknowledged in a BuzzFeed analysis. The true number of people killed in the disastrous winter storm and power outages that devastated Texas, the nexus of the schmexis in February, is likely 4 or 5 times what the state has acknowledged so far. Can you believe this? The state's current tally stands at 151 deaths, but by looking at how many more people died during and immediately after the storm that would have been expected, an estimate that 700 people were killed by the storm. Yes, 700 killed by the storm during the week, with the worst power outages in quite some time. Now, this astonishing toll exposes the full consequences of officials' neglect and the fact that the mainstream is lying to you. Well, we already knew that, didn't we? But we like to give you some data to back up our claims. Hurricane season officially begins Tuesday, and here's what is typically in June and July. Well, hurricanes. At a glance, typical tracks in June and July with this wonderful infographic. Now we can see that the June paths are mostly coming in and through the Gulf here, especially in the region just west of Florida. And the July tracks are more southern Atlantic, moving up and through the Caribbean, as well as the 2 paths from the June track. So those are the areas we would expect hurricane development or tropical storm development to happen, and what we'll be looking for the next 8 to 10 weeks. Now, name storm frequency in the Atlantic. June and July are very small months, and it's not till mid-July that the uptick happens. By August, peaking in the beginning of September and through the end of October is when we have the most storms. We have an October 1st peak here, which we saw quite obviously last year with storms being named all the way through late October. So there's that. And that's what we'll be looking for this year. Now, we should be seeing quite a few more hurricanes than last year based on current predictions. So there's that. National Weather Service summer climate outlook signals more bad weather and bad news for Utah. Well, let's just get right to it. Here is the forecast for June, July, August 2021. On the left is the temperature outlook and the precipitation outlook on the right. Here you can see the Four Corners region where we're located. We are well below normal for precipitation for all of June, July, and August, and I'm not buying it. Not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a heavy monsoon, but the exact opposite of what NOAA says, which is, well, to be expected. Now, NOAA expects the East Coast to be completely obliterated, especially the Mid-Atlantic, well above normal saturation June, July, and August. And if we look at the temperature anomaly, the Aleutians are going to be on fire. Satan himself could get a small condo there on the Aleutians. And the Four Corners region well above average, as well as temperatures on the East Coast well above average. So that's according to the mainstream, and I'm bringing you the facts. Well, probably not factual, but I'm bringing you the information. Now, ice chunks fall from the sky and goes through the roof of a Wisconsin home on Tuesday, just yesterday. It was completely insane. Elk Mounds, Wisconsin. A large chunk of ice damaged a home in western Wisconsin Tuesday morning. According to the residents of the home, which is located near well, let's just listen to the resident. I don't have good clarity on this, but we can listen to the video together.
News 18, imagine trying to get up and get ready for your day, but instead of having to shut off your alarm clock, you're greeted by a cannonball-sized chunk of ice.
Now, this strange icy incident left one Elk Mound family with a large hole right above their bed. Meteorologist Justin Esterly has the story.
I was reading to the kids and I heard a thump And I was sitting right here, like right here.
And I thought, was there a car crash?
And it landed right there.
Oh my gosh.
Inches, within inches of me.
It looked like a bomb went off in here.
I would compare it to a 12 gauge
It already looks like a bomb went off in there, but I digress.
or a little louder.
Big hole in the roof. It's like, where in the world did that come from?
It was that quick. It was like, boom, it was done.
One Elk Mound man had a bit of a rude wake-up call this morning after this
Take a look at this mambo.
ball of ice crashed through his bedroom ceiling.
12.6.
It weighing in at a whopping 12.6 pounds.
And it hit you.
It grazed me. As soon as that come through, everything else was like a dust of insulation, and I couldn't see it.
12 pounds of ice causing thousands in damage.
There's more than $1,000 worth of damage up there.
Here is one of the support beams.
Come out.
What's left of it.
Now, to be quite honest, a small hole in a trailer house or a double wide, I looked at the damage, and I could fix that for about $80. But if you're making an insurance claim and you don't know how to do anything, it's going to be thousands. So there's that.
Yeah.
The big question left on everyone's mind is, where did it come from?
Because there was a big black cloud above it, and of course we just had the storms this morning.
Officials from the National Weather Service office in Chanhassen, Minnesota, said this morning's storms weren't strong enough to cause any hail that big.
It'd be neat to see what it analyzes at, the contents of the ice ball, and figure out possibly where it came from.
All I know is God had to been watching out for me, because I could have died. I could have.
Absolutely unbelievable story. News 18 did reach out to UW Eau Claire's chemistry and biochemistry department to take samples and analyze the contents of the ice.
We haven't heard back yet.
So that's all.
New tonight on News 18.
That's pretty awesome. They're analyzing the ice, and hopefully we'll get a response on what this is. Now, the debris on the surface is obviously coming from the roof of the double wide in question. There's some sawdust and some other debris. But this ice chunk, in my opinion, is indicative of something that would be falling from the sky from a plane. So a high-altitude plane that's flying through a storm could be building up ice on the body of the plane. And that ice, and we don't have the picture now, of course. There it is. That chunk of ice could be sublimated on a plane and then just simply ripped off and be free-falling through the surface. Now, his account where he could be dead, it's completely true. If he was just 1 foot to the left and it hit him in the head, his head would have probably exploded, and it would have been a much more heinous scene at the house. And our prayers go out to them. Severe weather outbreak in the Central Plains continues. So Wisconsin's all the way over here, so there's really no severe weather outbreaks. That's now moved to the east. And now what we're looking at is the Central Craton severe weather threat. A regional outbreak of thunderstorms is expected across the central Great Plains through tonight. Severe thunderstorms may bring EF2 tornadoes, intense damaging winds, and very large hail. Any bigger than that rock, and we'll be questioning it. Further east, severe thunderstorms are possible from portions of Virginia to Maine. It's insane. Mainly with damaging wind threat, and a few record high temperatures are also possible across the east today. Take a look at the this is tornado warnings in yellow across 5 states. In Nebraska and Kansas, thunderstorm warnings and watches and flash flood warnings and washes towards the east here. So heads up in those regions. Click on your county for more information at weather.gov. Let's come check the models, which are not schmodels. They're fantastic. And they were showing heavy snow in Montana in mid-May and mid-June, but that has come off the map, thankfully. And the snow has picked up in Colorado, where we need it the most. We're actually going to be picking up maybe 8 to 10 inches in many of the high mountain regions soon. But the fact that it's ongoing is a beautiful thing, because we're in a treacherous drought. And here we can see this is the total precipitated accumulation through June 10th, 11th. And you can see large portions of the Four Corners area that is in drought is going to be picking up some heavy precipitation. Some of the most needed regions here towards the Mojave are going to be just getting a smattering up to 1/3 of an inch. But, hey, take what you can get, as well as the Sierras. That's what we're saying. You know what I mean? Picking it up. I just put it down. Here's the ghost magnetometer 1 minute. You could see a flux of over 100 nanoteslas in the last 6 hours. And that means geomagnetic storm. It means 6 coronal mass ejections are now affecting us. The first one hit right here. The first mini one here. Boom. And then you can see a secondary one hit here on this uptick in the plasma. And then you can see a fantastic front right here. This is the main CME, the third in a sequence of 6. And we have several other CMEs that are coming together. Now, they may have grouped in this one big jolt, but we still have another 24 hours to ride this out. And in the meantime, we've reached geomagnetic storm at KP5 just for 3 hours. We're back down to KP3. All is in the quiet. But during this 3-hour in geomagnetic storm at G1, we actually had internet outages and problems with our cell phones and other communications in this region. And I want to know what you think. And if you had some disruptions just about, let's say, 6 to 9 hours ago from this podcast. Let me know your thoughts of what was happening late in the day today or mid-afternoon, depending on where you live, and the time scales. So we have an aurora forecast here that's looking fantastic for almost all of Canada. And this is going to be moving through as the Earth rotates. And that could be picking up aurora in the northern craton here of the U.S., including Wisconsin, North Dakota, Montana. So keep a close eye on there. Heads up, Maine. It could be insane. You could be seeing Stickman dancing in the skies right now. Seismic update. No quakes of note. All is quiet on the western front. We have an East Coast quake right there in Tennessee. Heads up, Dubai. Don't get your knickers in a bunch. Worldwide volcano news update. Kilauea volcano is no longer erupting according to the USGS HVO on the Big Island. And that's good news. Or is it? In my opinion, it's bad news because what happens after Kilauea stops erupting? The lava moves north and Mauna Loa goes boom, boom. That's my official prediction. Alaska volcano eruption at the Great Sitkin Island sparks warnings. A volcano eruption from Alaska volcano of the Great Sitkin has launched ash high into the air, and further explosions are possible, according to the authorities. The Alaska Volcano Observatory, AVO, has issued a red aviation alert for Great Sitkin, meaning significant emission of volcanic ash into the atmosphere is likely. And boom! Right on time. Great Sitkin volcano. New explosive activity today, puffing and passing to, 15,000 feet. Fantastic. I love it when a plan comes together. Galapagos tortoise found alive is from a species thought extinct. Always good news on the planet. People, typically on the left, are claiming that the whole world is dying, the biome is dying, the earth is dying, insects are dying. Wrong. We have yet to even identify hundreds of millions of species on our planet. That's how pathetically stupid we are as a species. And in the last week, we found 3 extinct species walking on Earth again, including the giant otter, something else I can't remember, and now the extinct Galapagos tortoise found alive. Guess where? On the Galapagos Islands. Now, that island is so small, if they didn't know that tortoise was alive, how stupid did they look? Pretty stupid. In just 48 hours, we will be in Hoevenweep National Monument. We're going to first start at the Lowry Pueblo for your viewing pleasure. We're going to be doing some podcasts at the Lowry Pueblo. We're going to come up here through Cortez on 491, go over on CC, hit the Pueblo, come down into Hoevenweep, check out a huge portion of the 6 contiguous sections that are marked out here, over, I think, 100 acres of ruins in the Hoevenweep area. And then we're going to drive over to Blanding to spend the night before we head over to Lake Powell for Alien Allen's special tour on a mesa. I can't privy you to because this is some top secret stuff. We're going to be seeing some top secret petroglyphs and ruins and occupation sites that we don't want people to know about. So some top secret stuff coming up on Friday night. We'll be showing you the Hoevenweep and the Lowry Pueblo all day Saturday. We'll be at the secret area over here somewhere in Utah near Lake Powell. And then we'll move back down through 191 and hit, guess what? The Moki Dugway, Lake Boom Time. Now, Hoevenweep has some of the most spectacular, massive constructions, some of the largest multi-story constructions from the ancient Pueblo people, the Anasazi, however you want to talk about it, and some of the most significant structures in the fact that they are square and uniquely square. This is not what we're supposed to be looking at here. And here we can see this just fantastic megalithic construction. Take a look at how they blend the stone directly onto the rock here to create perfect masonry, and then the floor structure, the lintel above the door. This building you're looking at is around 1,000 years old. And it's, well, it looks fantastic. Superflower moon rises in the clear sky over Sydney Opera House. This was a super blood moon. The super blood moon, boom, with the full lunar eclipse in Australia. And those that are in Australia that witnessed it now know that a full lunar eclipse, well, it's not that fantastic, to be quite honest. Yes. Scientists have found a way to break the limit of human longevity. Oh my goodness. Is Jeff Bezos already involved in this? I'm sure all of the billionaire, including Uncle Bill Gates and Elon Musk and all those schmucks, they are well versed in this. A research team at Giro, a Singapore-based biotech company in collaboration with Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center in Buffalo, New York, announces a publication in Nature Communications, a journal of the Nature Portfolio. Cornholio! Is that what I just said? Presenting the results of the study on associations between aging and the loss of the ability to recover from stresses. That's what everyone on the planet is now experiencing. Aging and the inability to recover from stresses. Well, if you lived a lifestyle like I did and you just got off the Can-Ams, mudding and pumping your way through the wilderness at 60 miles an hour, you might have relieved some stresses. And if tomorrow you're going to be going on a 15-mile excursion into a impossible to escape canyon on the river, you might also be living the life beyond your wildest dreams. And if the day after that you're going to be going looking at petroglyphs and ruins in Colorado, and the day after that you're going to head over to a secret area near Lake Powell to look at more ancient civilizations that got removed from the map, you may live a blessed life. But each and every one of you out there can do exactly what I'm doing today. All you have to do is do it. But you might be sitting out there like, but I don't have the means or the ways. Yet you drive back and forth thousands of miles to your slave job, back and forth, and you can afford that. Why can't you afford to just go 500 miles to an awesome place and just spend the day? I don't know. Because there are 5 or 6 people coming with us that don't have any money, and they're just hitching a ride along, so they're going to enjoy the environment. There are lots of opportunities out there that many people sell themselves short from. And I might be doing some inspirational videos in the future on simply how to change your life. A lot of people live in a paradigm where there is no growth. There is no potential for amazing things. The only way that you will succeed in life and get ahead or get forward is if your mindset is bringing you there. You can't say, oh, this is a dead-end job. I hate my life. I hate this. I hate that. I hate the other. Your life will continue to be in that perpetual spin of hatred, denial, and shitocracy, which most people are living in. So when I was sick of it and I decided to get out and I read enough books on how to transform my life, I said, look, I'm just going to sit here alone in silence and pray my mission. And it's to get out of this, to be the most successful person in the world, to be live happy, joyous, and free, to have the ability to travel and do whatever I want, to grow food, to live independently, to homestead, to own animals, to live in harmony with nature. That's what I want. And I said it day after day after day. And boom, before I knew it, I was living it. Because I put myself into that vibrational frequency that took me here. I didn't take me here. I allowed myself to put myself in the position to take me here. You could do the same. If you want to change your life, create the mantra. What do I want? What do I need? And how can I ask for it unselfishly and do it? Say, I want to be the best at this. I want to be the freest at that. I want to do this. And I want to do it for free. And repeat and say it every day. As you manifest that destiny, it will come to you. People will enter your life. Opportunities will enter your view screen, and slowly, progressively. You will move towards the future that you created simply through your mantra. It's that simple. Now, let's talk about this nonsense. Everyone needs to extend their life because 100 years isn't enough. We need 200. Well, look, let me tell you, in my life experience, I'm only 50. But what I learned from 30 to 50 is so important that I don't want to live past 90 because the next 40 years are so critical that I can live 4 decades beyond my wildest dreams until I can barely walk. And then I want to be reincorporated back into this process. Comfortably, quietly, and while I'm sleeping. Hello. So if they could determine a plan for that, that's great. But to allow me to live past 90 for another 60 years seems absolutely stupid. And people that have lived that long even claim that they don't want to be alive when they're 120. They're like, look, I can't barely walk around. I can't do this. I can't do any of the things I want to do. I'm tired of reading and thinking. I've been doing that for 40 years. So from 80 to 120. Now what happens after 120? Now I understand the mind continues to work and you can think and write and be productive. But in just my life experience in the last 50 years, if anyone had lived what I had just gone through in the last 50 years, they would be happy to end it now. But I'm happy to live it comfortably and amazingly for the next few decades, share my vision and my knowledge with the rest of the people that are still alive, and tell them that there's hope, no matter how far down the ladder you have gone, no matter how deep of a hole you have dug. You can easily emerge. Because at the depths of that pit, that's where we plant the seed. And then it sprouts and it grows. And then everything from there is onward and upward. That's just my life experience. And I know hundreds, if not thousands of others of people that have lived an abundant life in a paradigm shift like I have. And you can too. I know a lot of you that subscribe to the channel are hoping and waiting for it. And I just gave you some tidbits of information that you should grab onto, even if you don't believe it, and try it. I didn't believe it. I thought it was hokey bullshit. I felt uncomfortable doing it. The power of prayer I thought was completely embarrassing and infantile until I realized how stupid I was. Okay, so let's get back over to these idiots. The emergence of big biomedical data involving multiple measurements from the same subject brings a whole range of novel opportunities. Like making you live to 150. Who would want to do that? This is some stupid shit from the globalist billionaires that, well, let me just put it this way. In just a few years, some huge coronal mass ejections from the sun were going to hit us, and we're back to the Stone Age. And this whole idea of living to 150 years becomes completely ridiculous. Because when you just live 6 years, like I have, homesteading, providing for yourself each and every day, there is no one on earth that would want to do that for 150 years. Ever. Trust me. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. When the mainstream is feeding you a bullshit narrative, trust me. We all know when we're happy, we're sitting there doing nothing, soaking in the elements and relaxing. We love each and every one of you, our one-time donors, our Patreons. You're keeping us alive. And we have a fascinating weekend to fill you with knowledge. And I hope you join us. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like-minded people. And be safe. We love you. That's a boom. Click on one of the other boxes already. God damn it.